Welcome to About Time, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Stephen, and I've been a Doctor Who fan since 2005, and usually I'm joined on the podcast by my boyfriend Ben. Today, however, I'm joined by special guests Monika and Casta Hex to discuss the 2024 episode The Devil's Chord. And quite frankly, it's about time. So hello listeners, welcome back to About Time, and I'm joined today by two very lovely guests. I'm joined by Monika, and I'm joined by Casta Hex.
Hello everybody.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me.
Not a problem.
Why don't you introduce yourselves a little bit, tell us, who you are, what your connection...
Yep, who's going first?
Wait, Casta, why don't you start?
I can do that. Firstly, hello from the other side. I've been a fan for ages, so it's going to be wild to be on the show. Thank you for having me. I am Casta Hex, everybody's favourite century-bending seamstress from the southeast. I am a drag queen, which makes me, I think, uniquely qualified to comment on this week's episode. And I also work in costume for film and television, so that also gives me a little bit of an insight. I hope to give a little bit of insider information about the costume production process and the designs for this series, being a period episode. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? And Monika.
Hello. So my name's Monika. I'm from Germany, and I've known Stephen through the Doctor Who fan orchestra. I don't even know when we started, but I've been a fan of Doctor Who since its return 2000. In Germany, it was 2006, so we had to wait a year, I think. And then suddenly, after the second series, it stopped. They did not broadcast it, which was very unfortunate. But I rejoined the universe when I went to university. That was a couple of years later, and then I got proper internet, so I could actually stream it. Those were the days. Yes, yeah. Very excited to be here. And yeah, so it was a very special episode, I think. Lots of news.
Yeah. That's part of why I wanted you here, because I feel like music is a big part of your life and something that is within your soul, and I feel like there's a big theme of the episode. So yeah, you're both the perfect guests for me to have on for this episode.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks for being here. So we are talking about The Devil's Chord. Before we actually get into the episode, I mean, are you enjoying this new era so far?
Oh no!
That says it all, I think.
Oh no! I love shooting.
He's fabulous. He's doing a great job. He hasn't got enough. His face just doesn't have enough character for me. He doesn't seem like he's seen some stuff, I know they're going with a more youthful, childlike kind of version, but I just like my Doctor's face to have a bit of character. Don't get me wrong, he's drop dead. Like, I would eat him with a spoon. However, I like a bit of a haunted vibe to my Doctor, I suppose, and he's not really giving that for me. But the writing is fun, and we'll see where it goes. The effects look great. Everything looks great.
Everything looks fantastic. Yeah,
amazing.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, you see, they have money now. It's Disney money, I think.
Sure.
So yeah,
sure. Video game tie-in money.
Oh dear, yeah, the CGI and stuff. They really they go for it. Yeah, I like Shooty, and for me, the stories are, except from The Devil's Chord, which is the second one now, which I really love. But the first one, The Babies, I think it's very personal why I didn't like it. It didn't like grab me. And I hope story-wise there is a bit more of a character development for the Doctor, which, Casta, I agree with you that he's very one-sided at the moment. Just this energetic, charismatic young Doctor who might need a bit more trouble to be haunted. I'm not sure. But probably with Ruby maybe in the upcoming episodes.
Yeah, I know what you both mean by that. Because, obviously with the whole bi-generation and allowing the 14th Doctor to sort of have his healing, they were trying to go with this reset thing and sort of take a lot of his baggage away. But maybe the idea of that is to take the baggage away to then build it up again. So I'm guessing, over this
make him sad again.
Yeah.
Bring the sadness back, okay? We all want to relate. Where's the sadness?
He's too happy.
Yeah. It's too smiley for me. I channel darkness most of the time, so it's a bit too smiley. But however, the episode was camp as all heck, and I'm very excited about it. So
Yes, I agree. So this character, Timothy Drake, the sort of piano teacher and composer, I felt really bad at first because I was like, oh, they're talking about him as a composer and I hadn't heard of him. And I was like, oh no, my music knowledge is failing. And then I Googled and it was like, oh, he's not real. It was like, yeah.
I didn't even think he was real. Okay.
I was like, oh God, I've got to pretend I know all about him.
I have to do that with every designer. I wouldn't worry. I think.
Yeah. But I like that opening scene. It's a really good opening.
It was quite horror movie to me in vibe. I know that the special effects were quite Looney Tunes Merry Melodies, which I'm in two minds about. However, it was very like Faustian bargain energy.
Oh yeah.
Which I kind of like. I thought I liked it. Yeah.
Also, the idea of the maestro coming out of the piano, I thought, this is very much Doctor Who, like taking something ordinary, like a piano, and make it creepy with a person coming out of it.
Like a kind of portal,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
But it's almost like a TARDIS.
It's a bit like that because you don't know how it works, but kind of they obviously use it to travel, and so that
it would have been cool if
fun.
that came out of other things as well, like how later on they put them in the cello and the drum. Like it would have been cool for them to have like if a violin, like a tiny little violin, fell on the floor, or like a triangle, and they squeezed Jinx like out of it. It would have lived for this like awkward, like she would have played it great, like coming out of it and being like, oh, put on some pounds, and then like jammed herself. Like I'd have lived for like a coming out of a tiny space, but it was very, very camp.
Yes, I can see that. So, Casta, are you a fan of Jinx Monsoon?
Jinx shares a very special place in my heart. The season that she was in was the first one I saw of Drag Race, and she personally kind of inspired my thing. She's a pagan in real life, so am I. She sings, so do I. She acts, so do I. Like, her and I are very similar in our vibe. And also, Jinx and Hex are like both strands of dark magic.
Wow, yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
Hexes are more powerful than Jinxes, I will say.
Okay.
However, she's literally an icon, and I cannot say enough about her. I think she's fabulous. So I was very excited that she was in it.
So I was up until the announcement of the casting. I wasn't really aware of her. Ben's quite into drag and stuff like that, but I'm on the periphery. I sit down and watch Drag Race with him sometimes when he watches it, but that's about it. And I was talking to him about this earlier because I was a bit confused because the way that someone's identity as a drag queen works when they're performing. So, for example, Jinx is playing the character of Maestro, but
as
also
how
Jinx
did they credit
themselves
her was a question
is a persona, isn't it? It's not a real person in a way. But then when she's performing, I suppose it does become a real person. So
yeah, I was interested when I watched it all the way through to the credits, and I was interested whether or not they were going to be credited as their new name, because they've recently deed polled their legal name, I believe, to a goddess. I think they're going by Hera now, the Greek goddess of the hearth, which is fabulous. So I was interested, but I mean, if I was in the same position, like it would be my dream to obviously take that similar route and get into acting more. I would credit myself as my drag name because it gives you a little bit of separation. I think sometimes it's a bit of protection for you from the insanity of fame.
Yeah, I can see that. And also, it's part of her brand, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's building credits, isn't it, for Jinx? Yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting.
For sure.
And also that Maestro's pronouns, they use they pronouns.
I love that. That was great.
Yeah. Although I found it really strange how the Timothy Drake character was like, get away from him. because I look at
yes,
that character and
that,
I don't think him in any sense, like it doesn't spring out to me at all.
Yeah.
So I was wondering why he thought that. But yeah, it was good to clarify the pronouns early on.
For sure.
Yeah, that moment when they came out of the piano, and as you said, I thought he would go for her in the first moment, but it's good they cleared that up. So
it was probably meant by him as like an insult, I guess. It was probably maybe he was being like him as in like, you obviously are not
absolutely
what you're presenting as, maybe, which does get used for drag queens. And then that very powerful moment of like them who I will be doing the voice. I'm sorry, Jinx's voice is too easy to slip into. We have a quite similar sort of cadence, so it's so funny. Them, me, live for it. So good.
You're taking the impressions mantle for this episode.
I would love to. I probably can't do quite as good a Mum from Mary Poppins as you. I forget her name.
Or Maria, yeah.
No, I can do some people for sure.
I was also a little bit confused about exactly how Maestro was supposed to have been summoned, because they made this whole thing about the Devil's Chord, the tritone.
Yes, they did.
But surely it can't just be that, because many people have played that over the years.
Is that a real thing? And is that a real historical concept?
It really was. It really was banned in medieval music.
Because I know a bit about, you know, being pagan and stuff, like the metaphysics of like potentially demon summoning, etc. So sound, like how Jinx says later on in the episode, like every atom vibrates. Like sounds do intrinsically, like you use a singing bowl to cleanse an area for a spiritual reason. So, which was cool, her using the tuning fork in like a weird, like wand kind of way. I enjoyed that a lot.
Yes.
So it was interesting to me, that concept, but I'd not heard. I'd heard the phrase Devil's Chord before, but not. I'm
thinking about it now, and actually, the fact that the Harbinger was there, I suppose, was what opened up the doorway. For, you know, if he just played that that chord. I was thinking about it, well, you know, that's got played so many times. Like, it's in Donna's theme, for example. Like,
it is.
Maestro hasn't appeared every time Donna's theme's been played.
But or maybe it's only because the toy maker has somehow made it now possible that
maybe
Maestro can exist or enter that kind of sphere. And then Maestro kind of chose a moment in time where it was possible for them to enter our universe, but they needed that tritone thing. I don't know. Or maybe it's just in the context of a melody or a song, so it's not the tritone alone.
Yeah.
Or like, I also did have a thought about it. This episode, there were a couple of moments in it that gave me very Shakespeare Code to me. And specifically, she says later, the mind of a genius gave her gave her the key, and it was very Lilith, which is like the mind of a genius, words without measure, you know, all that situation. So maybe it was specifically that guy was needed after the toy maker was kind of released. Maybe that the toy maker was like the catalyst, but that guy was still needed in the way that Shakespeare was to Lilith and Doomfinger, and and all
these elements just making up the perfect storm.
For sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, it doesn't make sense, but
it was a bit plot holy, but it's fine. The performance was great. I don't care.
No, absolutely. I liked the Harbinger joke, the H Harbinger. It was very Russell T Davies, and like reminded me of Partners in Crime, and she's like, "My name, Miss Foster, as in foster mother." Like, all these little jokes. So there's a lot of fourth wall breaking in this episode. Now, personally, I don't mind when a character like Maestro does it, because it feels like they are transcending. But I wasn't too keen when the Doctor did it.
I didn't like when the Doctor did it. And the finale I could have done without, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Are we talking about the finale right now? Because it was too High School Musical for me. It's just...
It's a bit...
I think it's always nice when they do songs, but that was too much. That was too... we're at Disney. We know it's okay. You don't have to put a musical ending to it. Yeah.
I'm not as qualified to talk about the actual musical arrangement or anything as you guys, but it wasn't no Buffy musical episode, was it?
Oh no.
It was, yeah, I didn't love it. I love the like musical. I love the arrangement of the whole thing, and like a lot of Jinx's stuff I live for the arrangement of, and specifically the music battle was great, I thought, as like not a musical adept. But yeah, I didn't love it.
Yeah. I don't mind the song at the end. I take it as, you know, the leftover energy from Jinx. And, you know, it's a bit of fun. To be honest, I prefer this over the Goblin song. I wasn't a fan of the Goblin song.
I wasn't a fan of the Goblin song, yeah.
TikTok was, but no one else was.
It's never a good sign. Yeah.
No.
It's the way it's set up as well, this one, where, you know, he literally, like, takes her to the side and he's like, in all my adventures in time and space, there's always a twist at the end. Yeah. And it's like bursting into song like a musical. Yeah.
And he's
not the best segue, was it?
No.
So she's come out of the piano.
Also, she played the Doctor Who theme.
I did love
she
that.
Did.
I really loved
it. Yeah.
I really
that
did
was
love
great.
that.
Yeah.
Yes, I died. I heard that bit. But I'll be honest, I thought it was going to go somewhere more. I thought they were going to do more with it because
me too. I thought they played the whole Doctor Who theme then, and it then got into the normal theme. I thought they played the whole thing. That would be cool. Like only for that
but also
episode.
There's that bit later where they're in that weird sort of void, and Maestro's doing this presentation. And they sort of play the chords of the Doctor Who theme, like dun 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 dun, dun, like right in front of him, and I'm like, that's so meta.
Yeah, where to activate the TARDIS. Yeah,
This is the thing. Did you know that Maestro actually played the Saxon theme? I didn't, but I watched with subtitles, and it said in brackets Saxon theme playing, and I thought,
really?
Oh, really? And then when I listened to it, it's actually they actually did it.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean,
that's related to the Doctor Who theme anyway, isn't it? It's all connected.
It is, yeah.
But
I found it like weird that they even put it in the subtitles, so that must be
that
intentional.
Is weird. But yeah, I don't know when I was watching that the first time, I really thought there was going to be something more to that whole meta thing. I mean, maybe there is in the rest of the season, but it was almost like this acknowledgement that they're inside a TV show.
Yeah. I think maybe as well it's just trying to be that idea that Maestro is like the embodiment of all music kind of thing. So I think it's probably just like you say, that kind of like tongue-in-cheek nod to the audience kind of rather than
for our benefit.
Rather than like the Doctor's awareness. I don't think the Doctor's, although there was that one bit where the Doctor was like, I thought this was non-diegetic.
Oh my God.
I was a bit like, okay, that line is from Archer, firstly. Secondly, Zhuti's just going to take me a while to like kick in the tyres for me.
Okay.
But it's fine.
So we should explain for anyone who doesn't know what diegetic means. Diegetic music is music that is really playing within the story. So if a character plays a musical instrument or there's music on the radio or something, whereas non-diegetic is the score in the background that the characters can't hear. So I've just completely killed that joke and made it non-funny by over-explaining it. But
this is an audio medium. People need the joke explained.
Yeah. I actually missed that line the first time. I was at a watch-along party, first kind of one of those I've ever been to. I missed that line. So everyone was going on about it on Twitter, and I was like, I missed that. But yeah, it is funny. Apparently, everyone on the production team kept saying they need to cut it. And Russell was like, no, keep it in, keep it in, keep it in. It is, I can understand, like it maybe is taking the meta thing a bit too far.
I mean, they're doing a giant musical number at the end. I think that is the least of the drama about of like wall breaking, you know. True.
Have you seen Buffy, Monika?
I haven't. I know you keep telling me I should watch Buffy.
Yeah, you need to.
Yes. I'm so sorry.
But as Casta brought up the musical episode earlier, and it does really remind me of what they were trying to do in a way.
Oh, right.
I mean, nothing's going to come close to that, is it?
No, nothing. Once More with Feeling was groundbreaking. I do think as well, I think they got a lot of inspiration for the end sequence, the look, the choreography, the musical arrangement from the recent Matilda movie musical.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It was very, very like the
Very
opening
much,
with
yeah.
all the bright colours and all the like,
Absolutely.
you know,
Yeah.
it like the My Mum Says I'm Special. It was very giving me that, like the colours and everything.
It's so funny you should
yeah.
mention that, because I was thinking about the Matilda movie on the last episode, because the Space Babies with their lip syncing. I heard that the first number in the Matilda movie was going to have babies talking, and I was expecting it to be that with them lip syncing, but it was just voiceover in the end.
Right.
So yeah, that would have been cool. So should we talk about Ruby?
Yes.
Do we like Ruby?
Obviously something going on with her and the snow and
she's going to be like some secret prophecy child situation going on. The look was, I was very enamored with both of their looks this episode. As someone whose drag is historical, I live between like Tudor times and about 1890 generally. I love when the Doctor and his companion gets to dress up, because it annoys me as a costume person. If someone was swanning around in if Martha was swanning around in 1590 in a red leather jacket and a vest top and jeans, that like pineapple updo, she would have fully been hucked in the river with her thumbs bound to her toes. Like, they would have floated her. Like, the Doctor can get away with it a bit because the coat is a bit oh my god, no, it upsets me. So it was great to see some period wear that was very, very period wear. It was fabulous. Although the idea that they were wearing wigs angered me. When he was like, I have so many wigs, I was like, that's not a wig that she's wearing. That's her hair.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's just a silly joke. It's fine. Yeah,
it was a lovely scene that where they you know, they walked through and got changed and came back out. I could see that happening a lot joyful. in the series.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I'd like it to be a thing. I would like it to be a thing. I mean, it gave me the Unquiet Dead in a few moments as well this episode. Like that specifically, when Rose obviously comes out and has that lovely moment where she's in, I will say, vastly in period inappropriate outfit that Rose was wearing. However, it was very pretty.
Yeah, Ben ranted about her outfit in that as well when we watched it.
Yeah, people would have been offering her money. Yeah. Let's put it that way. They'd have been saying, "Can I have the business?" And yeah, it would have. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. But remember when we kept getting all these new photos of Ncuti in different outfits from filming, and there was a theory going around that the jukebox was going to be a thing where he would press it and play a song at the beginning of an episode, and that his outfit would sort of magically change to fit the style. But yeah, they didn't go down that route, but that would have been cool. Ruby, you know the outfit she's wearing at the beginning before they get changed? It's so Clara. Like, it literally looks like she's raided Clara's wardrobe.
Yeah, well, maybe she did.
Maybe it's all on the
found in the TARDIS. You never know.
Yeah, I'm still trying to work out how I feel about Ruby. She's definitely grown on me a lot since she started.
She has some good lines. I think they're giving her some good lines, some good jokes and stuff. But I think she needs more time away from the Doctor, some scenes away from the Doctor, because that's when the companions so far always have shown who they are when they have been with like. People who were affected by, I don't know, some monster or alien. So I think Ruby needs to spend or to have time away from the Doctor so that we can see who she actually is. We had that in the first episode, sure, yes, but for her to do character development, she needs to have some scenes without him in some foreign planet or wherever they are going.
Well, I mean, like Martha, like you say, Martha, I think her best bits was like Gridlock, where she was on her own essentially the whole time.
Absolutely.
Family of Blood, she was on, that episode was amazing, and that was her on the whole time. And then what was the one where they were racing to do a quiz to get door locks open?
42.
And she like got jettisoned out of the thing. That was great. So that would help for sure. Yes. She did have a line in this, which is very, I know they have to kind of rake over the same ground of it's bigger on the inside. I can't die in a timeline I didn't. But specifically the wording of when she's like, the world didn't end in 1963 did give me Rose doing the world didn't end in 1860. Like it did give Unquiet Dead very specifically.
It seemed to me it was like, okay, now we have all the new fans, we need to get them on board. So here's what happened so far. He can't die with travel in time and space, and time is flexible. So we need to set those things again, and he wants to get them out of the way so we can move on with the narrative. But yeah, it was literally, I think it was the same line.
It was no, I pushed boxes at the Boston Tea Party and now I'm going to die in a dungeon in Cardiff. Like, that is so quotable.
Yes. Yeah, so I've got a fun fact about that, actually, which is that I think what they did in this episode was something that they wanted to do in The Unquiet Dead, but it got cut for budget reasons. So originally in The Unquiet Dead, there was a scene where, you know, when Rose is saying it's not right, this whole thing of the zombies and the Gelth possessing the bodies.
Driving them.
The doctor was going to take her back to the present day and show her a world where this had happened and there were zombies.
They were piloting people.
Right.
Cool.
But then they were like, it's too expensive and too much. And I think the episode is better without it. But it just kind of an idea they recycled, I guess, now that they can afford to do these things.
Yeah, it would have broken the tension in Unquiet Dead as well, because I loved the like horror tension. I think if you'd have gone out of that as well, it might have.
But it just goes to show that I feel like budgetary constraints can help creativity most of the time.
For sure.
Yes. And I also think it doesn't help the story, because if you leave that part to the imagination, so what would a world look like, instead of going there and see, well, everything's destroyed and it's black like they did in that episode, it won't help Ruby to understand, because it's just another strange place. It's just like another planet she's going to. She will not grasp the concept of, now this is actually right now where I actually live. She won't understand that. It's too much to grasp. So I don't think it helps the story. So it's not needed, I think.
I think you're right. But yeah, you could see the Doctor and Ruby just having so much fun, particularly at the beginning of the episode.
Oh, yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah. I like that one bit where they were in the canteen and there was and they both like were moaning about the price of tea and old money. That one woman who was just like very like, I'll make them extra slappy for you. It's like that very like stereotypical dinner lady type canteen woman. Yeah. I live for that. That was so funny.
Every scene the Doctor is in an everyday setting. I love it. And that was just the canteen scene where they just going to have lunch in a canteen, and he seems so out of place. And then he moans about something like the price. And that's great. I love that.
Yeah, it's funny when it like grounds him again. Like
exactly.
He's still moaning about tea prices in like the 60s.
He has an infinite amount of money.
I know. And also, I don't know if that was expensive for tea in the 60s. And also, they're in a recording studio, so they can price it what they want. Like all TV studios I go to, their prices are exorbitant because they can. Like
they can.
Yeah.
Oh well.
And they do.
And so that lady who was giving them the tea was the enigmatic Susan Twist.
Oh.
Doesn't mean anything.
Does that not mean anything to you? Okay. Have you not noticed that there's been have you not noticed that there's been the same actress in every shooty episode so far playing a different character?
No.
Is it the old lady?
Oh, are they doing that?
Yeah. So her name is Susan Twist, which is causing fans to go wild because, what if it's a twist about Susan?
Oh, oh my God, Susan! Also, Susan got it. Oh my God,
a name
Susan
drop
got a mention in this episode.
I was going to say Ben must have been very excited about that.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
I paused and then rewinded so I could hear the whole Susan mention again, and I was thinking of Ben.
That was interesting.
And it made me really happy for him.
The fact that, after all this time, we finally get an actual name mentioned.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Susan Twist, right. Is that the old lady who, at the end of the first episode, was like, it's just the TARDIS or something like
No, that's a different... So there's more than one mysterious old lady in this season.
Ladies!
That was Mrs. Flood, Ruby's neighbour.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you've got this Susan Twist is the actress, and she's played in Wild Blue Yonder. She was the woman with Isaac Newton. And then she was also at the where Ruby was playing with her band, and then this woman was like, "Can you do Gaudete or whatever it is?"
Yes.
That was her.
Oh no.
She was also in the one that is after this, Boom. She was the ambulance.
It's giving original 1939 Wizard of Oz, where that one dude is like Professor Marvel.
Oh my god, yes.
Who's at the gate. Who's like, who rang that bell?
I was literally just about to say that.
Guy.
Yeah.
I love that man. I love that man. Then he cries like his like all the water in the human world like down
out of his eyebrows,
beard, moustache, out of his eyebrows. Yeah, exactly. It's giving that. Maybe next week she'll just be like an alien guard. Like she'll be like full Chantho prosthetics and just be like say something weird. That would be fun.
Oh my god, I'm feeling so dumb now. I was making fun of Ben because he didn't recognize the Bad Wolf reference in season 1. Then he didn't get most of the master hints. And now I'm missing 2 creepy old ladies already. Oh no.
Yeah, but I don't think
you lose them, don't you?
Yeah. I don't think I would have noticed until the ambulance one in Boom. I didn't really notice her until people were saying on Twitter. So she's sort of blending into the background. But we shall see where that goes. Of course, by the time this episode we're recording now goes out, the whole series will have aired. So
and we look like the dumbest people.
We're
because it's timey-wimey stuff. We can't do anything about that. I did love when Jinx said that. That was very fun. When she said something, and she was like ranting and creeping over the top of the timey-wimey. Oh, that was fun.
Yes. There's something I really want to talk about next. The funniest thing in the world, which is the dog song, the Beatles dog song.
Oh my god! Oh,
I have a dog, and it's very fun. And that was.
I love it. Oh,
literally,
gosh. I loved it.
The last week, I think there's been a couple of days where my entire day I've just had going round in a loop on my head. I've got
it can't be that bad.
He's called Fred.
It's not that bad. And I thought, because what they wanted to do was, let's make music real bad. Let's make it real bad so that the audience understands that something happened to music.
Could have just Nickelback.
And they could have done.
Could just like anything but Nickelback.
But from a technical point of view, like what Murray's done with that is,
isn't it?
Yeah,
to make music bad.
I think the things that make it funny for me are the way that like the syllables are all like, on the wrong emphasis.
Yeah, like, it was weird. Yeah.
My dog, my dog, my dog. Yeah, it's stuff like that.
It was nice to see Scylla and the Beatles have like a cameo. I thought that was fun. That was fun to have them.
Apparently there was so much more Scylla, but she got cut, which is so sad.
Right.
That is sad. They didn't do big enough teeth, but it's fine. I'd have liked giant, like Lady Tottington fake chompers, but it's fine.
Yeah, I love the Doctor and Ruby's faces when they start singing the dog song, because they're like, for a second they're like, okay, I don't recognise this one, and then they're like, what the fuck am I listening to? Yeah.
It did hit the ear weirdly. I mean, you guys will know more about that from like a musical arrangement perspective, but it was very like upsetting. Being a witch, I'm obsessed with rhyme, and I love like the rhythm of rhyme, and you know that. So that bit hit my ear wrong, and it was just very uninspired, wasn't it? I think that was the point, wasn't it? I suppose just to be as lackluster as possible. Like someone's written it.
It also in like year 9 music, when you're told to write a song and like no one knows how to do it, and it's like
it was also very much giving sorry, I don't know if we can swear. It was giving very Jinx obviously takes her name from Eddie Monsoon from Ab Fab, and it was very much giving that bit in Ab Fab where she wants to be a pop star and she's like, there's people outside the window, like where she's in the taxi and she's making up a song and she's like, walking down the road, all the people say hello, I say hello, thank you. It was very much giving
I
that.
actually like that.
Someone,
It sounds like the songs that Ben makes up, like every day of my life. Like
yes,
for
exactly.
sure.
It's very interesting that they didn't go for, we need to make music sound really bad. Let's just make it atonal. Let's just make lots of discordant tones, because that's actually music too. And in some periods of time, that was considered to be good music too. So they couldn't really go with that. So the whole atonal scale and stuff like that, they couldn't go with that because that's actually good music for some people.
Yeah.
Whereas
whereas
the dog song, clearly there's something missing, and that was the whole point, that there's no passion.
It's just soulless.
It's just
the thing,
soulless.
They played on like the banality, I think, of the lyrics, like the whole idea that like by taking away the soul of creative expression in a very sort of demonic-y way. It was giving kind of demon to me a lot, like taking something away. And it was very Ursula Seawitch as well, like not only in her performance, but like literally taking away the voice of like everyone creates this like turbulence, which creates like war, which I believe 100% would happen. If you took creative expression away, it would be... the world would be a much worse place.
Absolutely. It's a great deal of humanity to be able to be creative and to express our creativity. And in this episode, they not only made music really bad and boring and soulless, they also made people ashamed of it. Because when you listen to the conversation in the cafeteria with the Beatles and Paul, then he wanted to put it all behind, because
I want to get back to the mines.
Exactly. He was ashamed to that music once played such an important part in his life. It's almost like to be creative is a taboo, or is not it's not a pleasant thing anymore. I found very
it was a bit like
interesting.
kind of like the energy that people who are in sex work kind of feel like they have to have sometimes.
Yes.
That like, I'm doing it for now, and then
Absolutely,
people have that. It was sad. It did give that great scene of like her playing on the thing, and then like everyone coming out of their window, and there was that adorable old woman in the fabulous embroidered cardigan,
Oh my
just
gosh, that
like
was the best.
who then got like Five Nights at Freddy's by Jinx coming out of the piano, like jump scaring her like the puppet and dragging her in. That was a vibe.
Well,
that was good.
I loved
We all knew something horrible would happen to that woman the moment we saw her.
Because she was so
cute.
cute.
So sweet.
Exactly.
Do you know who she is?
No, she's
of course
someone.
not.
So yes, she is. I didn't know this, but the internet helps.
Is it another creepy lady who appears in every episode?
Her name is June Hudson, and she used to be a costume designer, and she worked on Doctor Who in the late 70s.
Oh my god!
And she designed
All
Tom
of my
Baker's
friends
costumes.
are gonna kill me. All my friends are going to kill me. That's literally my job.
So she was a costume designer, then she became an actress, and so having worked on the classic show, and she's now had a role in the new show, and it's just
that is amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. The costumes this show were fabulous. Bless.
Can we talk about that scene now? Because that was the best scene I've seen in years of Doctor Who, I think, when all the people started to play. Or do you want to discuss that later?
No,
I don't
that
want
was literally going to be my next thing, yeah.
Awesome, yeah, because, oh my God, that tune by Murray Gold, when Ruby plays it, it's so beautiful.
It was beautiful. Exquisite. And it was nice that they gave it time to breathe and played like the whole piece. It wasn't like cut up.
Yeah.
It was beautiful, really beautiful.
It is a fabulous piece of music. And canonically, within the story then, Ruby composed that herself.
For
Which is
lesbians.
like, she's what? Yeah.
Beautiful.
I was just a little bit sad at the beginning. She's playing it, and I'm like, where's the sustain pedal? Because when she's doing the waltz accompaniment in the background, and it's just like plonk, plonk.
Yeah, it was very simple and plump, and then later it became this beautiful fluent motion. I thought that this probably was intentional, so that we think, Ruby she invented this little tune, and it's quite cute. It's okay, and then it became this massively beautiful thing. So yes, quite clever to start off in a very But
it is lovely, and everyone coming to their windows. It's really nice.
It was very cute. I really liked it.
And then we have their laugh being the same as the giggle arpeggio, and that wonderful line that was in the trailer where they come out of the piano and "you called."
They had a lot of really good like one-liners that were very much very drag, and I loved them.
Yes.
And Jinx's delivery is just hilarious, where she's like all fluid and soft, and then it's like, like I love that.
Yeah,
I really love
the variety is
the unpredictability that Maestro had was really a vibe. And Jinx did say about that in interviews I saw, that she was like, the scariest thing a person can be is unpredictable. So that was how she wanted to play it. And I love that. It was giving that like very Bellatrix Lestrange at times, where it's like soft and floaty and seductive, and then like, you filthy half-bloods! It was very that, which I love.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Also, the doctor running away and the doctor's reaction to the maestro. So we actually believe that he's powerless and he doesn't know what to do. Although I didn't quite buy Ruby's reaction, because Ruby says, "Oh, you hide, you run away, you never run away. How do you know? You know him for like one episode."
So there's some talk about the order of the episodes being switched around, because also she mentions about it's June or July, she says, but that means that because they met at Christmas, so like, where has the last 6 months gone?
Absolutely, yeah.
I just didn't get. I get it that you want to create this fear and stuff, but like, as a character who is not returning, he's faced some really evil, horrific stuff across the whole thing. I get that the Maestro is ridiculously powerful, as is the Toymaker. It's that similar vibe. But it did hit me a little bit odd that literally Jinx Monsoon appears, looks very camp, very over the top, and the Doctor is like, that is what triggers.
I think it's
that was
because
the point.
It was the laugh, it was the giggle arpeggio that he connected to the Toymaker. Right. And then we got all that stuff about the bi-generation, and he said that it tore his soul in half, which I thought was interesting, because there's been a lot of discussion about exactly what the bi-generation means, and if it means that, you know, Ncuti's been pulled forwards from a future time, or I think this clarifies that that's not the case. They were literally split like an amoeba into two.
And he's the softer, newer, youthful charisma, and he hasn't all the scars.
Yeah, and he was saying that he can't survive that again. So I guess that, you know, another something akin to the Toymaker was what was frightening him at that moment.
I get it that they represent power more than, and what could be the repercussions, rather than that is the Emperor Dalek or John Lumic, or you know.
And maybe this
sense.
Doctor's just done fighting. Maybe he'd rather run away. I don't know. I think we'll find out in the season.
Yes.
Because so far he's running away and hiding a bit. Yeah, I'm curious to find out what happens to this Doctor.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. I was a bit unsure about that bit where he used the sonic to sort of create silence.
Like a bubble of quiet.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it.
I'm not sure what he was trying to achieve by that.
No, I think it was probably just to give Jinx a reason to use her mime training, frankly. I think it was just an excuse. I think it was just an excuse for her to be like a silent movie actor for 5 minutes. And then I don't get really how the tuning fork in the water disrupted it. Is it because it's a sonic vibration in the similar way? I don't get it.
Yeah, instead of air vibrating, it was the water vibrating.
Right.
And I thought it was quite clever, because so the audio was gone, and I thought it was Maestro's main source of power, singing or making music, making noise, and he was just testing if taking that away from them made them weaker. I think it was the first thing that came to his mind.
Yes,
like,
I get you.
The tuning fork, and they can sing on whatever. He might know what they are capable of, and he tries to mute them. So he tries to take away their power, but unfortunately it didn't work.
Like blinding the basilisk. Yeah, it didn't.
Absolutely. It didn't work, because unfortunately they're clever, and they used the physical elements of sound, which are the waves, which can travel through any medium. And I don't know the full scientific background, but I think neither does Russ. I think it's enough for a children's TV show, or mainly children's TV show. I think it was enough, yeah. So that children would go, oh, clever, look at the ripples in the water. Wow, it's cool. So
what do you... I don't know any children who are watching it at the moment. I think it's just like, yeah, those of us who are sort of like, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know what I mean?
Those of us who are how old?
Well, yeah. I mean, I work with kids. I work in education, and there's like, if I mention Doctor Who, they're like, what? Like, yeah.
Oh no!
It's so
what are
sad.
they watching?
No, I've watched something else.
They're watching Karma as a bitch flop down the social media, everything.
Did you want to talk about Jinx's costumes?
Yes.
Yeah.
my time to shine. I was very interested because, firstly, as drag queens, I make all of my stuff like from scratch. Jinx doesn't, but she designs and has an input. She often works with Florence DeLee, who works in New York, I believe. So I was intrigued as to whether or not they were going to work with the costume designer, have it made by the person who knows their body, and like does their hair. I didn't know if Wig Chapel were going to do their hair or Jinx was going to do their makeup. I really didn't know. So it was interesting that Jinx just was an actor and just let them do whatever. Their costumes were fabulous for me because they pulled a lot of references from the period. They pulled a lot of Ziggy Stardust. There was Bowie. There was the Beatles. Specifically, the end costume is very the Beatles, that one iconic image of them in that kind of Nehru, like corded military jacket shape, which I thought was very fascinating, especially as then the Beatles themselves ended her. I was like, oh, that's a cool like Easter egg for people who are into design. I loved her big purple dress. And I think for me, that look with that hair colour, that colouring of the purple magenta with the orange and the piano was very Paloma Faith. And it makes sense that she's almost pulling from musical people of the time, that she's wearing like Ziggy Stardust, Bowie, Beatles in the 60s. And then when she's in 2024, her references are almost a bit more like Florence and the Machine, Paloma Faith. I don't know if that was something they were trying to do, but that was what it was giving to me. Yeah, I thought it was fab. My favourite outfit was the battle outfit. I love anything with military piping. I do a lot of that in my work, like military cording. And the makeup was my fave of the three, with the like bleeding lips and the like under eye bags. I thought she looked actually stunning. Although I will say the wig in the middle wasn't my fave. I like that heart shape. The sort of the silhouette of the hair wasn't giving as much, the middle one of the three, but it was great. She looked fabulous. That's my input. Everything was beautifully made. I thought, tailored exquisitely. The shoes were great. Shoes often get left, often budget wise. Shoes are like the last thing you think about sometimes. So it was nice to see really lovely shoes. But yeah, but
it looked good.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. Very beautiful.
I mean, you know how critical Ben is when it comes to clothes. And he came down the stairs. I was watching it this morning in preparation for this, and he came down during that music battle scene. And he, normally, if he comes in and I'm watching Doctor Who, he's like, puke, and walks out. But he stopped and he watched because it was Jinx Monsoon.
Wow, yeah.
And I paused it, and he was like, oh, she's such a good actress. He was like, that costume's amazing. I was like, sorry, who are you? Where's Ben?
That's nice.
I loved it.
So, wow. Yeah. So if we did like, what the fuck fashion, or what did you call it in the episodes? So he would have like nothing.
I have 1 point for what the fuck fashion. Just one in the whole episode. Ruby's like 2 earrings bobby pinned into her beehive. That like 2 little like awkward like white marble Bakelite fake clip. Those were 100% 2 earrings, which I don't hate, but it didn't do anything for the hair. It didn't do anything for the look. The look was so slick and clean. All of the costumes were so clean. Like Jinx's stuff, everything was beautiful. Didn't love the earrings in the beehive. But
fair enough.
That's my only issue costume-wise.
Thinking about her first outfit, the one with the piano keyboards on the lapels, and that also links to the CGI of the like musical staves like swirling around and stuff.
Yes.
I was going to say about that, it's a very Western lens on music, and it reminds me of, you know how when they show time travel in films and stuff, and they use clocks and things spinning round.
Yes.
And it's always like, that's actually nothing to do with time. That's just how we represent
it.
Yeah. And
I did think that, yeah.
I was thinking, this isn't, if Maestro is the god of music, like across the whole universe, the fact that
sound wave or something,
you know, but then I'm like, maybe that's just how they appear to us.
Maybe
or in that time
maybe
period,
that's how the TARDIS translated it, because it is a form of communication. Maybe that's just.
It was.
I wasn't a fan of the CGI twirling. I thought it was very Looney Tunes, as you said. Yes,
it was a bit Who Framed Roger Rabbit for me at
must
times.
Be the same frame, I did
like when she hiccuped and the single note came out.
Oh, that was
camp. But I must admit, I didn't like the look of like Ruby being held up by like twisted CGI.
Yeah.
I didn't love that.
The CGI was too clean. It should
Graphic,
be more like
exactly.
It should be more like out of spacey, spheric. But again, I say it's all Disney's fault because they have too much money. You can make it too precise now. They can make it exactly as you want it, and that's not a good thing always.
I'd have liked maybe like treble cleffy, like curly shapes of like coloured sound wavy type thing, or just like sonic boom type situation, like heat wavy distortions that are a bit fun. But
I guess it's a shorthand at the end of the day, isn't it? It's
It is.
And it's but you've only got 45 minutes to do these episodes, and they're doing some really big concepts now.
Yes,
I think you've got to cut some corners actually somewhere, and just sort of tell the story. But
it's instantly music, isn't it? It's
exactly,
to the Western world, like you say, it's instantly this is music.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking, they're the spirit of music. I was like, oh, I wonder if there'll be a spirit of art. And then that spirit of art will just be paint. It will just be paint and like a paintbrush rather than fabric, pottery. You know, it's that key thing that's identifiable to people. Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Damien Hirst ruined it. Yeah.
And so apparently Maestro is a child of the toy maker.
Yes, it seems. Yeah, it seems so.
But yeah, I'm not sure what it means really to be a child of the toy maker. Like.
Yeah, and how did that happen anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always okay when we do the child thing. Then you need maybe someone else to have that child.
There's got to be other ones.
Siblings, and
there's got to be other ones. Like, and there'll be like concepts, won't they? Like, if she's music, it would make sense if there's like art. What else would there be? I don't know. There's a cooking one, and it's just like the spirit of Gordon Ramsay and Julia Child, and it's like they have a big like anime style like food battle as who can make the best sushi. Yeah, no, it was an odd. It was a very vague like.
Well, in the end, it's just trying to make abstract concepts somehow more graspable, more visible. So we have
tangible,
this tangible. We have this demonizing of like the arts or music, and we make it into a not person but some kind of menace that you can see and experience. But in the end, it's trying to make abstract concepts of humanity into some kind of a menace. In some way, it's trying to explore the human experience, what it means to be human. What do we as humans, what do we have compared to non-human species? And what else is there apart from creativity? So they should make an episode about
there could be a literature
war.
One that would work. Like the written word, and it's
similar to the Shakespeare Code. Yes, they could build on that.
There was a lot of Shakespeare Code notes to me, especially like the right chord will banish you. It was very too many words. It was very like that final moment with John Lennon playing it, and that it was very Expelliarmus, wasn't it? It was very Martha reaching for that word. What is that? I knew the Doctor was going to fail. I was like, it's going to be either Ruby or someone else. Is the Expelliarmus moment? And then you hit a bum note, and then that was great. That has got to be like the best reaction gif of anything. Jinx like playing the drum like that and cackling as the camera's like panning to.
I have a nitpick about that, which is that it's a timpani, it's a single timpani, and they're banging it, and you're getting two different notes out of it, but those kind of drums are just tuned to one pitch, so that annoyed me. But she is the god of music, so she can make it do what she wants. But
also they wouldn't actually fit into the instruments, Steve. That's what annoyed me.
Yeah, for sure. Because there's a whole
lot on the inside.
An instrument, isn't it?
Exactly. What actually I liked again was the Doctor trying to escape, and then he did this motion trying to escape, and that looked great.
It was like the Zorbeloff a bit, wasn't it?
Yes, a bit coming out of it. Yes,
the skin.
The skin.
Everybody pull.
100%.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Pull for your lives.
Good times.
Yeah, I found the music battle quite underwhelming.
All right.
I don't know why. I think you kind of forgot that Maestro was a godlike character, and it just felt like two people playing music at each other
in a school hall.
And maybe if like if it had some impact on the environment, like things crumbling and like fire and stuff, like as it got more intense, that could have been cool.
Yeah, they could have done a thing like in Paranorman, this animated thing, like there's this like big impact and like the world itself kind of starts to break apart, and then they're like on floating bits of it and like negotiating like the physics of things. Like they could have had instruments floating, and the Doctor and Ruby like running away as the floor like collapses, you know.
Yeah,
it could have been,
like
cool.
Bending reality, but like Interception or something that we see.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
space is kind of flawed. Yeah,
being like warped. Yeah, that could have been really,
that could have been cool.
Really cool. But again, they've got a whole series to pay for CGI budget for, I suppose.
Exactly. Yeah,
so
yeah.
They wasted it all on the like weird treble clef spider web situation that's holding Ruby up. It's fine.
So it's not a bad episode. I think I have a phrase that keeps coming to mind when I think of this episode, which is style over substance.
Oh yeah,
I'm wondering if
sure.
that. Yeah. But then that doesn't mean it's not enjoyable. Like it's a lot of good style.
It was very camp and it was very slick and beautiful. But yeah,
I thought the music by Monika, it was great. I loved it. The scene at the rooftop and the overall music. I really think that was very good. And he makes a guest appearance. Did you spot it?
Yes. I found it so confusing that on the cast list that was released, it said Murray Gold as himself. I was like, well, he's not playing himself because it's the 60s. But
yeah.
Unless he's just been eternally old, composing music forever.
Yes.
He did get the chance to stretch his legs in this episode, which was nice to see. I was like an episode. It was like championing him, really, wasn't it? The whole episode was championing his like great contributions. And like, I mean, Doctor Who music is more than like a score. I mean, there's a lot of scores that I just live for, but like when I'm upset, I will listen to the Madame de Pompadour theme. Like, I love that is my favourite Doctor Who piece of music by a country mile.
Yes, we all have that, right?
Great.
We all have that one tune we go back to. For me, it's The Lone Dalek, and we just go back to it. And I was thinking, it's just like the old times a bit. It reminded me of the very beginnings of my Who obsession.
Yes,
where I would listen to those soundtracks endlessly, back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
And I saw myself listening to that episode a lot. If it's released, I hope so. They release it.
They've got to release that piece of music. They recorded a whole lovely thing, didn't they? And it was such a key point. I'm sure they'll champion it.
Let's hope. Fingers crossed. So, I mean, okay, if we were going to rate this episode out of 10, what would you give it, Monika?
So difficult. Well, at the time when we're recording this, we've seen 3 episodes with Ncuti, haven't we? And that was the best one. But seeing it as all the episodes in the Who universe since 2005, I would rate it with a 6 out of 10. Yeah,
I think that's a very good score. Yeah, very sensible score. What about you, Casta?
Yeah, I was literally going to say 6.5. I think as a fan of drag, as a fan of theatre, as a fan of Jinx, it was great to just let her do her thing over a whole episode and see her great micro expressions and channeling Ursula the Sea Witch and like Jennifer Saunders and like all of that. It was fabulous to see her actually act, because drag race acting often isn't acting. So it was nice to see her stretch. The music was fabulous. Yeah, there's just a lot of great Who, isn't there, to compare it to? That's the trouble. The more you do, there's so much great, like earth-shattering, life-changing moments in Doctor Who that you kind of can't compare sort of a weird episode of campness to. It's hard.
It's so many genres in Doctor Who. It's all the genres, kind of.
I like the horror personally. I prefer like Blink, Unquiet, Dead. Like I prefer that kind of, or like the murder mystery sort of ones, like Unicorn and the Wasp, and that kind of thing.
Yes.
So it's not my favourite, but it's camp, and I can't come here and not champion camp. So I can't come here in all good confidence and say no to camp, because that's what I do.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be I'll say a 6.5 for me as well. I think I'd like to give it more, but like you say, there's so much to compare it to.
Yeah.
And it's very hard, I think, doing it when it's only just aired. I think, maybe in a few months I might think
It's a mull on it, yeah.
Yeah. So I put out on social media for listeners to let me know what they thought of this episode. Owen said, I thought it was like the good old times. The Doctor and Ruby's relationship is just unreal. And the episodes themselves felt like series 1 to 4 run of the show. And I really feel like that's what it needs. Not every episode needs to be so serious. It just needs some good story and some good old humour. That's Doctor Who to me. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. It did feel very nostalgic.
A fun romp.
Yes, it was very that. It was very that.
Lottie said, I thought of you guys when the Doctor said, I thought that was non-diegetic. I only know what diegetic music is as Stephen mentioned it once.
Well done, Stephen.
So, thank you. That's my legacy.
Educating the children.
That's what I'm here for. Jack says, is it High School Musical or Doctor Who?
Yeah, well,
I think that's what you thought as well, Monica.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ollie said, loved it apart from the unconnected musical number. Danielle says, it was a lot, but in a good way, exploded with energy. Also, God, Jinx was amazing. Holy shit.
She really was. I mean, she's coming off the back of like a casting on Broadway in Chicago, and now she's doing a run in Little Shop of Horrors. So like her career is going from strength to strength in serious performance terms, which is no more than she deserves because she's fabulous.
Also, we were talking about this potential 6-month gap that is unexplained at the moment.
Lost time, yeah.
So Whoniversal Man on Twitter mentioned that and said that making the companion feel like a real person with a real life and showing how TARDIS travel fits into their home and family life is one of my favourite things about RTD's Doctor Who, and it feels glossed over in a really disappointing way.
Yeah,
I know what he means. Yeah. I do feel that with Ruby in general, actually. Like, Russell's series 1 to 4 companions really felt like real people plucked from real life.
Yes.
Ruby doesn't really feel like that.
No,
but
maybe it's intentional because she probably isn't. There's something going on.
Yeah.
And can we just talk about that scene where she phoned her mum? And wasn't that exactly how Rose did it? Oh, I was annoyed because that was too much copy and paste. Like you mentioned,
well,
was too much.
It was like it was copied, but it was done really badly.
Worse, because that like great thing of like I'm talking to her, but she's dead now. When he like did the like fixed your phone whatever thing, that was fab. And then because that's in The End of the World, isn't it?
Yeah.
The one where they're on the space station watching the world burn, and she's speaking to her mum, and she's been dead for like millions of years at this point. It's not as poignant, is it, for someone to just not be there? It's like that's every time I ring anyone, it's just not there. That's every time I ring my actual mum. Like, so it was a bit. There were quite a few moments, to be fair, that were very. It felt like they've just found an old script and hacked a big bit of exposition out of it for me. Yeah.
This might sound harsh, but I expected better from Russell.
Yeah.
In that sense.
I think, especially given that this episode is championing queer stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally one of the queer icons of the 20th century is your guest star. And then some of the exposition is just hacked from the Shakespeare Code.
Yeah.
Also, it's very hard for Russell, I think, to live up to his standards and to our expectations. How long has it been since he wrote for Doctor Who the last time? It's been a couple of years, and I think he himself, as a person, has made character development, or who knows. And I think it's not as easy as we think it is to revisit this show of his. I think it's quite hard for him. Certainly, in some aspects, he's a different man now because we all are after years.
And the world
as well,
doesn't
absolutely,
it? Like not to bring up She Who Must Not Be Named because I can't stand her, but like after Harry Potter was a thing, then she wrote the Sodding Cursed Child and the Fantastic Beasts, which were just depressingly like hollow mockeries of what something was. Not that this is, it isn't. It's far better than The Cursed Child, which can just get in the bin as far as I'm concerned. But there was
so many pounds in the jar.
There was definitely moments of copy and paste from Shakespeare Code and The Unquiet Dead specifically.
Yes.
for me.
Yeah.
Like those two ones. Also, can we just say, I hate how the TARDIS looks now.
Oh, the inside.
The interior. Oh, yes.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like
Very
the
white.
bubblegum kind of cleanliness. I don't like the move to cleanliness in the TARDIS. I like a little bit of like broken downness. It looks like somewhere where Dior would have a weird runway now to me. It looks like they'd come down that weird ramp and then down the middle, and there'd be like Anna Wintour sitting there with a notebook. Like
She's
that's
the
what it
big
gives
bad.
to me now.
She's the one who waits.
It would be the spirit of fashion. And she like twirls a big sewing needle and all like thread and bobbins like wrap the Doctor and everyone up. Yeah, it's Anna Wintour.
Yeah, I don't think anything for me will beat the 2005 one. But
No.
I will say that about so many things, like the title sequence as well. And I wonder how much of that is just nostalgia, but they really did get things right in that first iteration, I think.
I do like the new titles, to be fair. I was thinking that I think the CGI looks cracking for it. But yeah, the TARDIS, I just love that David Tennant and Eccleston TARDIS. It's just so fabulous.
Yeah. Right, well, we are coming towards the end, and Monika and Casta, I have to tell you that with this podcast, there is always a list at the end, and it's a Patreon list.
Are we about to sing the Patreon tune?
Ben's made it so clear that he made up that song and no one else is allowed to sing it. Yeah,
he did.
So that's fine.
It's
fine.
okay.
But,
we respect that, Ben. It's fine. Yeah.
Shout out to our fallen brothers and all that.
Yeah.
So, what are you going to do a voice this time? What
I don't know who I would do.
Difficult in this. Yeah.
Unless I send you the list, Casta, and you do it in your best Jinx voice.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I would be honoured. I can try. There's so much pressure now.
I know.
It is, yeah.
Louisa, Philip, Jason, Joe, Tom, Louis, Michael, Ferna, Heather, Benny, Caleb, Monika, Amber, Kaylee, Kieran, Jay, Owen, and Natalie.
Wow, it's like she was in the room.
It's not.
For a moment there she was.
It's not at all. When I need to like watch stuff. I could have done it as Stewie Griffin. I can do that perfectly. So I could have done that.
I think we need to hear that now.
God. Brian, there's a granola bar in the cupboard. I want it. We could do that. Meg.
Yeah.
Boy, clothes sure are a prison, aren't they? Yeah, I should have done that. Oh, well.
Maybe, if you come on
time,
again, we'll have to do that.
Future time, yeah, I'll just do it as Stewie Griffin and...
Hilarious.
Oh, well, we tried.
Honestly, thank you, both of you, so much. It's been a pleasure having you on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, it's a great episode to talk about.
Thanks.
Yeah. I'd love to have you back sometime.
Yeah, I'd like to be
Yes, always.
It's great fun. I love the podcast.
It's wild to be on the other side of the curtain.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're both listeners as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
So you know how it all works. Yeah.
And I thought to myself, I so want to be the Ben of our group today, but I could never live up to that. I mean,
no one can hold a candle to Ben.
No, I don't think anyone could.
Amazing.
No.
Yeah, I love it so much, Steve.
There's only one
Ben. You need to
Ben.
tell him, please. I know he's not out there on social media, which is fair enough, but you need to tell him I'm a big fan of his.
I will.
Yeah, same.
So, thank you again. Listeners, next week I will be joined by another special guest to talk about the third episode of the series, Boom. But until then, stay cool, stay safe,
stay fantastic.